This, Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina, man, has probably been, I think you've been at Inside Carolina since I've been here, which is a long time, but maybe I don't want to make you older than you are. This has to be one of a very short handful of days for your community, the people who, devour your content. And Inside Carolina, by the way, has been the leader, I think, of this content. Bill Belichick coming back. How you doing, man? This has got to be a lot of fun.
It is, and kind of like you said, it's not anything anybody expected. When we first heard Belichick's name come up at the end of last week, I think everybody has kind of laughed it off, including probably some of the search committee members, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes into the room with this, hour and a half PowerPoint presentation about what it takes to make North Carolina nationally relevant, and the ball game changes. I haven't been doing it quite as long as you, but I have been with Inside Carolina for 22 years now, and
pretty good.
A lot of basketball success, but clearly football has always kind of been lacking, and this is Carolina's attempt to change that narrative.
Did you roll your eyes when you first heard, like, okay, yeah, whatever, of course, yes, Bill Belichick's interested, North Carolina's interested, this will be fun for like 2 hours, and then are you shocked that this is where we are?
Yeah, and the fact that Bill was looking for a job in the NFL last year, and because he's been a GM for so long, that power struggle was still there.
Yeah. And
Arthur Blank, for example, didn't want to kind of give in to that. I just really thought that it was a mechanism for him to get his name back into the news, to say, hey, I'm still interested in coaching because we got another month of the NFL season left. I kind of thought that's where this was going to be, but yet behind the scenes, people kept telling me, if he wasn't serious, he would not have done the amount of research that he has done. Nick Saban was involved, providing some guidance. And I think really from that first meeting, while the search committee went in, maybe thinking the same thing, like, okay, it's Bill Belichick, we at least have to try to talk to him, see what he says. Maybe he can give us some advice, to kind of being blown away and thinking, all right, well, maybe this is a time for us to do something that we never thought possible.
Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina at GSBarnes23 on Twitter. So let me ask you, because I think you are uniquely plugged in to address this particular issue. What do you think the financial investment has to be for his coaching staff, for his, and I'm just going to use the term front office, because I think, everything that I've heard, this is going to be run like an NFL operation. And how much of that has to come from, like, private donations to pull this off without damaging the athletic department, the athletic programs elsewhere in the university?
It's a great question, and I think that was a lot of the back and forth that went on this weekend. A lot of, I don't know if internal struggle would be the right way to phrase it, but at least a lot of internal dialogue about what kind of commitment is Carolina willing to make, because it will be substantial. When you look at Mac Brown, for example, when he took over, I think support staff and assistant coaching staff, that total amount paid to that group was about $8 million. Well, last year it was up to $18 million. And I would suspect it's going to jump up probably to $30 million.
Yeah.
Because not only are you talking about some big NFL names coming in that he wants to have join the staff, you're also talking about Mike Lombardi's already been named GM. He's going to have a staff of his own. Mm-hmm. They're already talking about having a high school recruiting coordinator just for high school. And then they're going to have a personnel staff in place to monitor the transfer portal, which includes watching ball games all across the country all year long. So they have an idea of, hey, as soon as this kid puts his name in the portal, we know exactly what he's like. We know if he's worth visiting or not. So it's an incredible amount on that front. And then you get into, ref shares are already going to add a lot of money to the mix. That's an extra 20 to 22 million. The scholarship money's an extra 8 million or so. So that's 30 right there before we start talking about the additional commitments to NIL, which have occurred for Belichick to be able to pull guys in. So I don't have a number, but I would say you're talking close to 50 when you factor in rev share as well. Additional from what they've been doing.
I think the number might be 60. That's why I think it has to be. There has to be so much private investment in this. And you kind of referred to it at the very beginning of that answer, Greg. The university, it's been used as a negative that they don't have it's not a football culture, that they don't have the emotional, financial, structural investment in football that they do in basketball. Do you think the community is prepared to do what it takes to pull this off?
We are about to find out. I think there's going to be a lot of hard conversations throughout the university now that this has occurred. I find it interesting that when Mac was officially fired, I talked with somebody that has been good to us for a long time. And the point that he made was we really have to do something dramatic within the football program because the culture is not any good. It's not tough. And you're not going to win in football unless you're tough. And so that's kind of how we were approaching the job search initially. What this is, though, kind of to your point, this is a culture change not just within football, but across the athletic department and across the university. This is a full-blown commitment to football like we've never seen before. And, Dick Bedore would tell you that he had a hard time getting money from the university beyond student fees.
Yep.
Just because there's such a kind of a separation there. Well, that can no longer be the case. And there has to be great investment from the university. And as you said, you're going to start seeing Carolina get very creative with trying to generate revenue because that is critical. They don't have the TV media deals like the SEC to do that. So you're talking about corporate sponsorships. You're talking about all kinds of fundraising, all kinds of commercial NIL opportunities. So that's really going to be a game changer for how UNC's operated thus far.
Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina at GS Barnes 23. Who has the first question of Bill Belichick today at the press conference, or will there be no questions?
That is a. I am glad that I am no longer officially on the beat, Adam. So I don't have to worry about that aspect of things. I get to worry about the other aspects, but not the press conference, Bill, because that hasn't been fun. Although it is fun to watch.
Oh my God, you got to come to Operation Football this year because I think it's my least favorite time of the year, but this year I might come early. Because I want Bill to turn down all of the interviews that all the coaches have had to do. Like it's that's the cattle call, man. You go here, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. You're going to Myrtle Beach. Then we're taking you to Bradenton, Florida. There's a small station there, and then there's like 4 podcasts. There's no way Bill does any of them. I cannot wait for Charlotte in July.
For sure, and I'm fascinated to see what his Learfield deal is because. Do you see him doing an hour-long coaches show?
Nope. It'll be like when Mike Krzyzewski used to give that to Johnny Dawkins. Right. No, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I don't know who's on the staff. It'll be the Josh McDaniels show. Wait a second. He's not going to do it either. McDaniels.
It'll be his son, probably, right?
Yes, it'll be the Stephen Belichick show. Oh, my gosh. Greg, thank you so much, man. Have fun in Chapel Hill today.
All right. Thanks, Adam.